Do you remember the moment when you became aware of your own shortcomings? When you realized that your thoughts and your desires were inherently selfish? Did you fight against it? Or did you give in and accept the fact that we are all born into sin? I remember when I realized that for myself, I started to look at all the junk in my life, my anger, my anxiety, my depression, my lust, my greed, and I wondered how it got to that point when it dawned on me. Every decision I had ever made was made from selfish ambition. I had cost myself love. I had cost myself blessings. I had cost myself true, meaningful relationships. It didn't matter if I hurt those around me, as long as I got what I wanted. My insecurities quickly destroyed everyone in its path. People were hurt, they were upset, and many were devastated by my choices. When I realized that, I did everything I could to do better. I tried to will myself into a better person. I tried to train myself into a better person. I even tried to trick myself into being a better person. But I just couldn't seem to be much better, at least not for very long. Then I heard about this man named Jesus who chose to leave paradise and enter our world. How could Jesus, why would Jesus step out of paradise to come down and live amongst the selfishness of human beings? Someone said he did that for me, so I didn't have to live under the weight of sin any longer. But that couldn't be true. So I started to read about him. The words of the men who followed and learned from Jesus show that he lived a blameless life, and yet he was still turned on. They arrested him, trumped up some false charges, and beat him unrecognizable. Then they led him up a mountain on his way to a cross to be crucified. No, this can't be true. How can they crucify an innocent man? How can they treat him that way? And then I realized how they could treat him that way. Jesus wasn't carrying his sin to the cross. He was carrying my sin to the cross. Jesus took my anger, my lust, my greed, my addiction, my anxiety, and every other sin I had ever committed up that hill and let them nail him to the cross for me. Jesus knew there was no other way. He knew I wouldn't be able to be good enough on my own. He knew that I needed him. But then I was shocked again. As Jesus is on the cross after being beaten and mocked and humiliated for me, he utters the most important phrase in the history of mankind. Right before Jesus dies, he says, "It is finished." And I thought, what is finished? Jesus says my sin is finished. I don't have to live under its weight anymore. I don't have to live with no hope. I don't need to allow the sins of my past to impact the blessings in my future. It is finished. Jesus paid it all. All to him I owe. I no longer live with the stain of sin in my life because Jesus says it is finished.